After you've installed your client's hair, you want to unbraid their leave out. If you've purchased my traditional install course, then you already know that we pressed her edges before braiding her down. But if you haven't done so, then make sure you press your client's edges out during this process as well. So I'm going to use this smoothing mousse from Sequence. This is my favorite mousse to use because it has a good firm hold. And you're going to put this on your client's leave out. It's going to help prevent the flyaways. It's going to help it blend with the weave. And it's going to also help you to define the part. So as you're smoothing this in, you're going to also re-part the part and just smooth everything in as good as possible. You can have the choice to put your client under the dryer, but since I don't have a sit under dryer in my room, I'm going to use the blow dryer to work the product in until it's completely dry. So as I mentioned a few seconds ago, I'm using my blow dryer to work the product in and get it dry. I'm going to also use my comb to create that tension as I blow dry, just to straighten those roots out. Now that the product is worked through and dried completely, this is how she's looking. I'm going to take some heat protectant and spray it over the entire head. When using heat protectants, you want to make sure that they're lightweight and aren't heavy in oils because you don't want to weigh your client's weave down. Typically, I do 3 to 4 sprays and I work the product as you see me doing within the hair. Or sometimes you can take some spray and spray it onto your hands, or if you have a serum, put it on your hands, rub your hands together, and then work it through the hair with your hands. Now we're going to begin pressing the client's leave out. Because her leave out is very thick, I'm going to split it into 2 sections on each side, and I'm also going to use the double press method with the hot comb. So if you aren't familiar with the double press method, you're going to basically just press both sides of the section with the hot comb, making sure the spine really touches the roots and get it pressed out as straight as possible. Before I go straight into the leave out, I'm going to press the weave out first just to make sure that everything is straight and seamless once I blend the leave out into the weave. So as you double press, you're going to take your section, hold your section very firm, take your hot comb, make sure it goes through the hair, and then really press that spine against the hair. And when I say spine, I'm referring to the back part of the comb. You're going to do that on both sides of that section that you just did. So again, hold that section very firm. And as you take your hot comb, you're going to really press it into the roots. As you're doing this, keep in mind that we're only focusing on the roots of the client's hair. I also don't do this for every client. It just depends on how curly, how thick their roots are. After you press out the roots, you're going to follow up with your flat iron and then press out the rest of the hair strand. I'm using a 2-inch Babyliss straightening iron. This is definitely my favorite straightening iron because I can get the hair straight in one pass. But again, depending on people's textures, you have to use a titanium flat iron. A ceramic is fine, but my client has very thick hair, so this flat iron was going to get her hair as straight as I needed it to blend with the weave. So I finished this section, and now I'm just going to go in with my hot comb to make sure I got the very front of my client's roots and edges, because you want to make sure everything is an even blend. You don't want to leave no fuzz, no beads anywhere, okay? So yes, I just smoothed all her edges into the weave, and everything is looking good. So if you followed that double press technique and then straightened your client's leave out, this should be the end result as well. So now we're going to cut some layers into the client's hair. I'm just moving her leave out the way so I don't mistakenly cut it. I typically cut a few inches past the chin, and I'm using a razor and I'm just gliding down the section so that it creates a diagonal layer effect. I choose to only layer the front of my client's hair because I like the way the curls lay. Once the look is complete, I do not layer throughout the entire head unless my client asks me to, because sometimes when you reuse the wefts, those layers aren't installed the same exact way. Layering it in the front is kind of easier to blend when you install for another time. But if your client doesn't mind, you can just follow this technique throughout the entire head. So now we're going to curl the client's hair. I split her entire head into two sections, and I'm going to start working on her left side. So I split the back section that I just sectioned out into two, and I'm going to take my curling iron and clamp it, and as I turn, I'm going to make sure that the hair is feeding out towards the left of the curling barrel. I use this technique for the entire left side, and then I do the opposite for the right side. Using this technique, make sure that the hair flows away from the client's face. Once you release the curl, you want to hold it for a few seconds. You can even squeeze it, or you can pin it and then you can drop it. Sometimes I choose to pin my client's curls just to give it an extra hold, or if they're going somewhere after. But for the sake of the video, I'm just going to drop the curls so you can see the directions that they go after they've been released. So we're going to move over to the right side of the hair. Same thing, split this section into two. So I'm going to clamp it, start twisting it, and then as I'm twisting it, I'm making sure that the hair feeds to the right side of the curling iron. Again, the right side feeds to the right, the left side feeds to the left. You're going to keep twisting. Sometimes if the curling iron gets stuck, you're going to unclamp it and then just keep twisting. And then you want to give it a nice hold, make sure the entire hair feeds through the curling iron, and then release it. Hold it for a few seconds, squeeze it if need be, and then you're going to release the curl. Notice that the curls on opposite sides are spiraling towards each other. That is the easiest way that you'll be able to determine if you're curling right. All your curls should not be going in one direction, because at the end, one side isn't going to look identical to the other. It just isn't going to flow right. So now I'm just going to finish up this side. So this is the left side. Again, I'm feeding it to the left of the curling iron, making sure that the end goes all the way through, holding it and then releasing it. So I'm going to take my Sebastian shaper. This is a flexible hold. I'm going to spray it onto my client, spray some Got To Be Glue spray at the top for the flyaways, and then we're going to comb it out to give it some fluff. As I comb the curls out, I like to use a wide tooth comb just to help shape the hair, and then I use my rat tail to kind of like smooth everything in at the top of the client's hair. The key things that you should take away from this video is making sure that when you're curling the client's hair, you're doing both sides in the opposite direction, no matter which part that you do for your client's leave out. You also want to make sure that when you're curling your client's hair, you allow the curls time to cool off before combing them out, just to make sure you got a good hold. Lastly, you want to make sure that you're using quality hair for your clients. The quality of your client's hair will definitely determine how the client's style comes out, which is very key to every install. Be sure to shop at humblytouch.co for your quality hair extensions and also for the rest of my online courses if you're interested. Thank you for tuning in.